All right, so now we are going to finalize and submit our poster assignment with our finished text and our spot illustration on our background with our border. So this is basically where I left off, but I did something I usually resist the urge to do after the last demo, and I was just looking at it and I tweaked it a little bit. And so the things that I was bothered by is my humility text was kind of visually centered, but it wasn't actually centered. And the reason was because my illustration, based on my early sketch, was a little skewed to the right. So I actually skewed everything in the illustration, all the line work, all the coloring, a little bit to the left, and then centered the type a little bit more to my liking. I also brightened it a little bit. So you'll see the colors are a little lighter in value than they were, so that the halftone dots can really show up a little bit better. And then I decided I wanted to mess with the background because this was getting really busy. And in some ways, this didn't really occupy this whole visual space as much as I wanted to, even with the doodles. So what I did is I added a whole new background element, which was this, playing with the cyan and the magenta. So I organized all my different layers, and there's a lot of them, into these different folders for the text, for the spot illustration. So I made this kind of repeating pattern, and I sank that into the background. But then you see the halftone dot texture is a little too strong, so then I want to knock that back a little bit, maybe to about 40. And then showcase my spot illustration on it, showcase my text. Yeah, and then I think it's ready. So once you're happy with your spot illustration, definitely zoom in. We're doing these at large resolutions. Check your edges. I chose to have this soft kind of index card edge, but I cleaned it up with a white border. And view it at 100%. And that's actually how it will print. Like what is sharp and what is soft, and make sure that's what you want. See, so my background's kind of softened behind. All right. So once you're happy with your finished poster, you save that. Of course, you save it as a PSD. And I will call this Carl Assignment 8 Poster Final. And if I were to print it, I would have to make it print ready by making the dimensions, the print size I want. The largest we can print is on paper, that's 17 by 22 in this lab. And then the largest matte opening that's pre-cut is 16 by 20 inches. And then I would flatten it, and then I would save it as a TIFF, as a print-ready TIFF, and then I put it up to the Dropbox. But right now, this finished PSD poster file is almost 2 gigabytes large. So in order to upload it to the internet, we need to then save it as an online file format, and one that we can reduce severely. So it's going to be a JPEG to the desktop. And I want to make it so it's fewer than 5 megabytes. So at a quality of 7 to the desktop. Okay, now the other things we need to upload. Let's see what I have. First is the sketch. So I'll copy these to the desktop. This is your blocking sketch, just as a JPEG. You can have your spot illustration in your sketch if you want, but you don't need to. Next is the black text solution. Right? You see how humility is a little off to the right there? That's still how the EPS is. Okay, next, your color text solution. Well, actually, I can output a lot of these right from my poster file. So if I turn off, after I've saved it, if I turn off my background, various background layers, turn off my spot illustration, I can save my color text as a PSD, or I'm sorry, as a JPEG. Forgive me. And then I call it color text. Same quality standard. And then, if you open up the text, this is how good designers work. You can then just turn off the effects and get the black version of everything. Or if you did a color overlay on it, turn it back. So because that's centered, that's going to be better than my old one, which was not. And I'll say that as JPEG, Carl assignment 8 poster, black and white text to the desktop. All right, so 4 things in this order: your sketch, your black text solution, your color text solution, and then your finished poster with a border. And we put that up to PhotoBucket, all 4 of those. You want to put it into the right album. So mine is going to be in Digital 1, Assignments, Assignment 8. You'll put it right into Assignment 8. I'm going to put it into Instructor Demonstrations. There we go. And then we'll label them the way we usually do. Now you can put your poster up to Redbubble as well. You can sell them. You can sell them as prints. You can sell them as metal prints, canvas prints. You can sell them as stationery cards. You have a lot of options. But then if you had improved your spot illustration, let me review that. I added halftone dots to my spot illustration, and if I think that's an improvement, then I can isolate that as a new PNG and re-upload that to assignment 7. So that's as simple as turning off everything except for your spot illustration. And of course, turning off the background as well, so it's a free floating spot illustration. You save as a PNG. I'll call this assignment 7 spot illustration final. And the PNG instead of the JPEG so that it's free floating. And it does have an offset already built into it. There it is. So I have my new spot illustration I could also upload, which is a nice mix of duotone, full spectrum, some color holds, but much more subtle, and has kind of an overall finish that I like. That's not so overpowering as some of the other options. All right, so let's label these, starting with the sketch. You're going to use FA17, just your first name, and then numbers. First your sketch, then the black text, then the color text, and finally your finished poster. All right. And they'll all show up together in the right order. It's a thing of beauty. And you see how posters are born. Now I can go back to my library, to assignment 7, and upload my latest improvement to my spot illustration. And you can have a lot more than 3 or 4 entries into assignment 7 because you can put products in there. And then I might want to upload it to my Redbubble page and update that. And I can show you where you can upload it in Redbubble. Where it will overwrite some of your older selections. So here's the old one. If I go to, I think, Manage Portfolio, instead of adding a new one. I can edit an existing, and then I can say Replace All Images. With this new PNG. All while I'm uploading it here. All right, now let's see the progression of the spot illustration. We've learned so much. So it went from a sketch to clean inking that got vectorized, to duotone flat color, to full spectrum and color held color, to a sticker. Check on this. Oh, there we go. All these different products. And again, for assignment 7, you can show a little product image of your favorite one, should you want to do that. But I'll work on those later. Why are you not showing? So, as a redone, very colorful, color-separated, full spectrum one, to the new one, which is a nice balance between. So that's what I like about digital art, especially as someone that designs graphics and images. We often push things too far visually. Digital art allows us to push things too far, recognize what works, and then dial it back, and then make kind of smarter decisions. And it really lets experimenting be part of the process. You're not ruining it as you go. All right, and that's it. So we're going to critique those as they come in.